right. So welcome everybody to Cortex Square second webinar for Open Call 2, where we're going to delve into the specific topic descriptions of our open call. My name is Elis Tereva. I will be hosting this session today. Going directly to the agenda, we will be delving into the specific topics. As you know, each applicant can apply to either one of those 8 topics. And additionally, we have a 9th topic, which is the open call one, the open topic, where you can suggest your own project, which is aligned to the Cortex Square objectives and goals. The specific topics are 8, as you can see here. The first one is Embodied Avatar. Second one, Smart Generator. Virtual Experience Editor. We have Multi-Person Reaction Recognition. Gaussian-splatting-based reality capture for VR. 3D model database. Real-time voice translation. And anonymizing meetings content for privacy-free data storage. Each of these topics are going to be presented by a topic owner and the developers behind these, and you will be able at the end to ask your specific questions related to those topics. As a reminder, this session is going to be recorded as it was the previous one, and as I have stated, it's going to be uploaded to our official channels. How the Q&A session works: you will be able to post your session in the your question in the Q&A chat box, and either at the end of the presentation we will be going one by one through the questions and responding to those, or as well you will be able to receive directly a written response to some of them. We have an excellent bunch of presenters for today. As you see, we're quite a lot. I'm not going to go to each and every one of them. We have experts from the FKI, experts from Alcatel-Lucent, from Linagora, from Intercom Telecom, and from Acti Image. And you can see also your host for today, myself, and I'm joined by my colleagues, Eva and Violeta. Each speaker is going to be, of course, presented as well with their specific topics. Prior delving to each individual topic, I just want to provide you with the framework of how this is going to be presented. First, each topic will be presented with the related challenge, so why this topic was introduced in the first place. Then we're going to move to the requirements, which is what is expected from you to achieve during the course of the 9 months program. Then what is the expected outcome after the end of the program? What will be the available support coming from the Cortex Square consortia? And of course, the assigned deliverables and KPIs via which we are assessing, of course, the successful outcome of your project. Of course, all topics will receive a great amount of support in order to reach a successful outcome. You will receive access to the Cortex Square documentation and technology. You will receive as well integration guidelines and technical support, and each project will be assigned an expert coming from the Cortex Square consortia who will be supporting you along the way throughout your participation in our program. Last but not least, we move to the first topic. I just want to inform you that you can start asking your questions from now on, so do not wait until the last moment. And as well, in case you forget to ask your question or you have any additional questions at the end of this session, you can also send your questions via the discussion board, which is available on the F6S platform, and you can use our official open call email. We respond very promptly, so you will receive an answer to your question either way. Okay, now we start with the first topic, which is Embodied Avatar, presented by Emmanuel Helbert from Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise.
Thank you very much, Eli. Hello, everyone. So I'm Emmanuel Helbert from Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise. and I will present you this first topic. You can move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so here the purpose is to give some humanity to avatars. So in Context Square, we developed this pilot with VR conference and with the ability to craft avatars for some of the participants. And what we want to have is an avatar which mimics as much as possible human behaviors. So what we propose here is to ask you to define some and to develop some libraries where we could animate the avatars with predefined movements such as wake up, sit down, etc. That would be great if we could also move the lips according to the speech and have a feeling that the avatar is not only opening the mouth, but saying really something. In addition, we are talking about detecting emotion and rendering them. So, for instance, being happy, disagree, being upset. And that could be also done with following the gaze of the participant. And finally, the fourth approach is about animating based on sound, like I'm coughing or I'm sneezing, and the avatar replicate this behavior. Regarding the technical requirements, we'd like to be compatible with Cortex Square technology, which means using Unity, Unity 3D, WebXR, which is a technology for conferencing. And regarding the avatar animation, you can use any kind of standard technology. The results could be open source, which is preferred, but not mandatory. And next slide, please. We defined 3 different KPI. The first one is about inclusion. We want to be sure that the avatar can be animated, whatever the gender or the age of the participant. For the KPI 2, we would like to have at minimum 4 different kind of animation, maybe 3 different emotions, and if we have gaze tracking, that would be perfect. And regarding the KPI 3, which targets sound-based animation, and in particular for the lips synchronization, there is a criteria about latency and precision, and that not necessarily to be measured with figures, but more from an experience point of view. What we definitely expect as the outcome of the project is to enhance the user experience during a VR conference with convincing avatars. And of course, to have this kind of library with these body movements. And in addition, I already mentioned it, that would be very, very important if we have authoring tools to record specific body movement and train the model to have new movements for the avatars and put them in a shared library. And next slide, please. To do so, you will have support from us, of course. All the documentation we have, we will we will designate a mentor to come with you and to help you during the whole project. We can participate to workshop and to ideate with you, and you will have samples of software. Regarding the deliverables, they follow the 3 steps of the project. First one, the sprint 1, is about specifying what you want to achieve. So we call it development 1. Sprint 2 is about integrating some of the library, some of the movement, some of the animation. And what we'd like to have is a video which showcases the results of this integration. And for Sprint 3, which is the whole validation of the integration with all the KPI reached. And in addition to that, that would be very interesting to have this user point of view with giving their assessment about the humanity of the avatar. And I think that's all for me, Eli.
Thank you, Manuel. Indeed, it is. Now we're moving to topic 2, which is Smart Generator, presented by Lydia.
I think Lydia did not join so far. I don't know if she has issue with that.
There might be a situation there. Eva, what is the status?
Let's change the order of presentation. Let's Lydia to present at the end. So, and also with Yazid, so they have time to reconnect, okay?
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so just give me a second then. Okay, so Emmanuel, are you ready with topic 3?
Yes, I'm ready, but I won't be alone to present it. So I will be with Marieva. Marieva, if you want to introduce you.
Okay, Marievi. So we have 2 speakers for topic 3. Of course, Emmanuel, as I've mentioned, and Marievi Zunaki from Intercom Telecom.
Hi, hello, yes. I think Emmanuel will start, but yes, I am Marievi. I am a senior engineer in Intercom Telecom, and I will present the end of the topic.
So you can move on to the first slide, please. Okay. So here what we'd like to do is to not to bring new services to Cortex Square, but to offer Cortex Square services to be integrated in VR or Web 3D application. Sorry. As to enhance, to give more features to this editing tool. So what we'll provide, what we expect to have at the end is to have a sort of a drag and drop mechanism to instantiate Cortex Web Service into a VR platform. So you will rely on APIs and SDK from Cortex Web Platform, and you will be able to use the user login or authentication mechanism which are offered by Cortex Square. And to remind you some of the services which are developed by Cortex Square, I just listed them here in the slide. So you have audio video collaboration, you have IoT data and control, you can instantiate AI assistants, hands and gesture recognition. You can have translation, meeting summary, you can have avatarization and others when they come. Next slide, please. So regarding the KPI, we split them in 3. The first one deals with the Cortex Square service integration. As much service as you can integrate, that would be the better, so at minimum 5 services. Regarding the platforms where it could be instantiated, we propose to have at minimum 3 browser and or VR headset that can be supported. And for the KPI 3, this is about promoting the use of Cortex Web services in various environments. So what is expected is to have an editing tool which can, in the project, you craft at least five different VR environments where you will showcase the integration of Cortex Web services. And for each of these environments, we would like to have at minimum, and this is mandatory for each environment, collaboration services and IoT services. And of course, the expected outcome of the project is to improve the accessibility to Cortex Web services by allowing end customers to create their own VR or Web 3D environment. And I leave the floor to Marievi for the last 2 slides.
Yes. Regarding the support that will be offered to the selected applicant, we will offer documentation of the Cortex framework and the endpoints that are offered, depending on the services that will be selected to be integrated. You will have an assigned mentor from Cortex, as well as some workshops with the appropriate partners that handle the services that will be selected. Also, regarding IoT services, you will be able to either register virtual IoT sensors or to have access to real sensors. And finally, you will be provided with data source samples. And in the next slide, we have the deliverables, finally. For the first sprint, which concerns the development, the deliverable that is expected to be submitted will include the specification and the test plan, describing the user stories, the KPIs, and evaluation methods, as well as the architecture and the integration and testing plan. Then for the second sprint of integration, we will have a deliverable offering user documentation and the demo video, which should provide a detailed guide for the end users of the VR editor that will be developed, and also include a video to showcase the integration of the selected Cortex services. And finally, for the third sprint, concerning the validation, the deliverable should be the MVP and end user testing evaluation, describing the full integration of the selected Cortex services, as well as the assessment of the developed platform by a group of end users. I think this concludes our topic.
Thank you both. Prior we move to the next topic, I just want to tell the participants, because I see that already a bunch of questions have came in. Please include the topic number before the question, and as afterwards it's going to be easier to refer to the different speakers. As you know, we have 8 different topics. Okay, now moving to topic 4, multi-person reaction recognition, which is going to be presented by Kristen from DFKI.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Kristen. So I'm a researcher at DFKI. Can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, so this topic is mostly gesture recognition, but here we have decided to decouple this into 2 different acts. Like one would be the host side, where the person would be presenting. The other would be the participants. And here we want to increase or have a lot of participants, like a conference room or so on. And in that case, we need to recognize the gestures performed by multiple people. And it would be nice if we could even keep track of who's performing the gesture, because if someone is raising their hand, we need to know if they have put their if they are satisfied with the question. So tracking the user is necessary. And in the host, we would just need to detect the single person who's actually presenting. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so for the host, as I said, it's just a single person who we need to detect, and it should run in real time on the CPU. The reason why we want it to be CPU is it should be on the client side, which means that the power consumption and so on, and it's also more easier to integrate when you run it on the CPU rather than the GPU. But if there is a GPU solution, GPU on the device, we could use it, but then it will also make the development more difficult. So that's the reason why you could probably stick to a single device. And there should be at least a minimum support of 5 static and dynamic gestures. So dynamic gestures are where you need multiple frames to detect an action, and static are just thumbs up, question raise, where you need just a single frame to know what gesture is being performed. Can you go to the next slide, please? And so here in the participant side, we would need to cover multiple people. So here the minimum would be at least 10. And as I said, it should also be in real time. And here we don't need to support dynamic gestures. I think it would be more resource heavy, but here we at least need to support static gestures with a minimum gesture count of 5. Can you go to the next slide, please? So the KPIs for this task would be to just, in the first KPI 1, at least 5 dynamic gestures and 5 static gestures. And here I've given some examples which you could follow, but it's like also it's free to you to integrate more gestures. But I think the virtual pointer is really good for which actually acts as a laser pointer. So if I want to point which part of the slide I'm referring to, the virtual pointer is actually a very good choice. And the second KPI would be we need to support a minimum of 10 people. I mean, you could support more, but minimum 10 is something which we thought it's good. And the model downloading initially, that the first startup should not take more than 50 MB. So if a person is downloading the solution, the initial model download and the file dependencies should not take more resources, assuming that this is running on the edge devices. And the outcome would be this should be integrated in the Rainbow video conferencing platforms, which actually the Cortex uses, and both the host and the participants can use our service. Next slide, please. So the support here we'll offer is the documentation of the Cortex framework, and I will be the contact person. So if you have anything, you can ask me. You can also discuss about ideas and also workshop if needed. And we have some of source code which we are willing to share for each startup. Yeah, next slide, please. So for the deliverables, first, we expect at least 2 static and 2 dynamic gestures working on the client side, and support at least 5 participants. The reason is we need to know if the roadmap is proper, because these are the more difficult parts. And if you can come up with the first development, I think the next would be easier. Then sprint 2 would be just integration and increasing the scope of the gestures and increasing the participants. And step 3 would be like proper integration and then end user testing to make sure that it works with high precision and recall. I think I'm done. Yeah.
You are. Thank you. So let's move to the next one.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Topic 5, Xiaoxiang Huang from DFKI.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Xiaoxiang. I'm a researcher from DFKI. Today, I will present Gaussian-splatting-based reality captures for VR. Yes. Next slide, please. Recently, using optimized 3D Gaussian splats for high fidelity scene representations has become a powerful method to create new visual synthesis from sparse image sites. But to make this works for things like network streaming or rendering on low power devices, we need to cut down on memory use without too much sacrifice of rendering quality. As shown here, when we reconstruct this typical bicycle scenes using the original 3D Gaussian splatting algorithms, the model size can get up to 1.5 gigabytes. This size could make data transmissions and high-speed real-time rendering pretty challenging on less powerful devices like mobile phone. In addition, we want to develop these applications on Unity. It means we want to integrate this method on Unity that can support run on variables devices like VR headset and mobile phone or web browsers, which can add another layer of difficulties. Next, please. To tackle these challenges, we have set 3 main KPIs here. The first is about multiple device support. We want this application to work on the desktop computers, mobile phones, via website, and via headset. And second is about the rendering quality. Even without a powerful GPU device, and such as mobile phone, remain rendering speed at least 30 frames per second is required, and it's also necessary. And for the third point, it's about the model size. To make sure the quantized and compressed the size of the 3D Gaussian model or point cloud file is less than 50 megabytes. This will help with the fast data transfer and improve the rendering speed. Next, please. Yes, of course, Cortex will provide the necessary support to ensure the project runs smoothly. These include assigned at least 1 contact person for this project and offering workshops based on the existing research for technical discussions and idea exchange, and conducting monthly follow-up meetings to track the progress. Next, please. Next slide. Yeah, thanks. And the project will be divided in 3 sprints, and for the deliverables. For the first 3 months, we should develop a stable algorithm and create a local prototype to show that compressed Gaussian splatting can work. And for the second, to integrate the Gaussian splats into the Unity, and we need to complete the test on the VR classes. And for the third point, we want to deliver an optimized version of the functional demo scenarios that can work on the multiple devices, like not only the VR headset, but also the computer and through the website and the mobile phone. Okay, thanks. I'm done here.
Thank you. Moving to topic 6, 3D model database, presented by Bastian from the FKI.
Yes, so hello everyone. My name is Bastian, as just was said. Yeah, and my topic is the 3D model database. Next slide, please. So basically, what is the issue with the database? First of all, this isn't written down here, but what we have is like this collaborative network. So many people working on different parts, and so it would be useful to have like one centralized database to share models with each other, or just, for example, different users that want to share specific models. Yeah, we want to make that easier. The main challenges with something like that is, first of all, there are many different formats for 3D models. And we need robust format conversion, because like depending on the context and the tools used, you need one specific format or a subset of formats, and they are not all the same and don't support all the same functionality. So yeah, aside from that, one challenge is a helpful presentation. So for example, if you were to visit this 3D database as a website, what could we use to help users find the needed models? For example, a good tagging system, a good preview image that really shows the model and stuff like that. And in the end, we also want to have like a very easy and secure API, so that we can access the database from our different services, exchange everything via code, and of course have that secure, because yeah, we are working with created 3D models. As for the technical requirements, since this is a database, a server product, this database should be scalable, so not just run on one specific configuration. Also, the API should be very open, so you can do everything with it that you need to do. And preferably, we would want to have like libraries for our code to access it directly. Since we're mostly using Unity, something like C#, for example, would be a good idea. Next slide, please. Okay, so for the KPIs, first of all, we have processing time. The idea is if you upload something to this database, it would be converted to different formats. Metadata and stuff like that would be generated. And for that, we don't, of course, want the user to wait very long. So yeah, we will start with having this basic about 5 to 10 minutes per model. Of course, it could change depending on the model complexity. For KPI 2, we have the file formats. Like I said, there are many different ones. We would expect at least 3 to 4 formats to be supported at minimum. And yeah, there are specific strengths and weaknesses being handled. And lastly, multi-user support. Since it's a database system, there should be some way to handle multiple user requests. So, for example, at least 15 users that are working at the same time with the system should be supported. Yeah, of course, the outcome would be this complete database system. Next slide, please. What support will we give? This is very similar to the topics before. Of course, you will get access to the documentation of the Cortex-2 framework. There will be a mentor from the team to help you with all the integration stuff, with all the setup stuff. Yes, exactly. Next slide, please. Now for the deliverables. For the first deliverable, which is proof of concept, basically have the basic service running with partial feature support. For example, one file format running on a local server or something like that. For the second one, we would like to see the integration into the framework. So have this basic service be available on the whole Cortex system. And lastly, a full integration with all the necessary deployment information, usage information, APIs, and things like that. So it can be used in the future. Okay. I think I'm done with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to the next topic. So topic 7, real-time voice translation, will be presented by Yazid. And because Yazid had issues joining, I will try to do it like that. Yazid, can you speak now?
Hello, you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Okay, yeah, we can hear you. You can see the presentation as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just move along and then you can start presenting.
Okay. Thank you and hello everyone. So this topic is about real-time voice translation. The next slide, please. So you have to understand first what Cortex is about. Cortex-2 is about. Cortex-2 is the main project for virtual reality, for XR reality, and the main goal is the collaboration. So it's to make people working together around some problems like maintenance problems or learning or something else. So people collaborate, and when they collaborate about something to learn how to use it and so on, they need to some experts in some situations, and the expert needs to give a flow of instruction for the users, how to do that, and this is the main question. And for translation, the problem is some experts they don't share the common language with the users. This is why we need translation. And when you make translation, it made the actions could not be translated in the same way in the original language. This is why we need the solution that can handle this kind of questions. Next slide, please. And we have here 3 KPIs that we can use to validate the solution. The first one is about performance latency, so that we need low latency as possible, and we leave the value for you. So we have to study this together to set up the level of this latency. And the second one is about quality. So the quality of translation should be acceptable, and then the integration, which means that the solution should be at the final stage integrated to Cortex platform. So we can develop a solution based on that. Yeah, we plan for this topic is more about 3 languages that we have, but we can discuss also about the definition. If you have already work on that and you have additional language, we can discuss about that. But main language we need French, German, and English, and vice versa. So you can go from French to German, or German to French, or use English as a middle language between both. The last slide, please, I think. Next one. Yeah, so we can help you on that. So you will have a mentor to help you going through this solution, and you will get also our support. And we have at Linagora a big team working in language processing and recognition and NLP and so on. So we can help you with to build this solution and to be integrated to Cortex. Yeah, I think that's all. What we need the main for the deliverable is that to have a quick proof of concept as soon as possible, because already I think you will use large language models that exist in the open source, and I think we can go quickly to proof of concept that we can then integrate to Cortex, and then we can go level by level to improve this solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yazid. Now we're moving to topic 8, anonymizing meetings content for privacy-free data storage, presented by Ali Reza from the FKI.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Ali Reza, and I'm going to present topic number 8. It's about anonymizing the meetings content for privacy-free data storage. So as you know, in today's world, data play an important role in a variety of domains, like, for example, marketing, for, let's say, studies like in psychological studies and so on, in addition to also data for training the deep learning models. But there's a big restrictions, which is the biometric information, which makes it impossible to use them easily. And these restrictions getting every day more and more restricted because of the potential misusage of this, let's say, data by emerging for example, the deepfake. You can easily generate the video or audio of a person if you have access to the biometric information of a person. But what we are interested in this topic is to remove this sensitive, let's say, information and making the rest data usable. Let's say we can recycle the data, we can sell them, we can use them for different purposes. And the technical requirements would be to expertise in AI image processing and speech and language processing, because you need to precisely, let's say, detect this biometric information and to avoid, let's say, leakage of this sensitive data. And in the next slide, you can see the expected key performance indicators. I would say the first one is the generalization, which means it should not be only overfitted to certain scenarios. It should be generalized, it should be work with different, let's say, conditions and scenarios, which makes it usable. The second one would be the computational load. So it should be able to run in CPU, or if GPU, a standard GPU, not a very high demand, high level of GPUs, and also that time for processing the data should not be long. So in other words, it should be efficient in terms of computational part. And the last but not least would be the multimodality of this topic, which means we should consider at least 2 of these modalities, like audio, video, text, audio, or yeah, at least 2 of them should be considered. And in the next slide, as we can see, is it's actually similar to the previous topic, so I don't want to repeat it again, but it would be support from the Cortex consortium. We have the assigned mentors and also access to the repositories. And in the next slide would be about the deliverables. We have 3 different sprints. The first one would be the development, which we create the initial solution and proof of concept. In the second one would be the, let's say, integration to the Cortex, having the initial MVP, and we prefer as a demo, which would be integrated to the Cortex. And the final one would be the validation, which it's already integrated to the Cortex and should be also satisfy the GDPR rules, which is very important. And I think this was from my side. This was topic number 8 about anonymizing the meetings content. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. And now I will move back to topic number 2. Just a second, as my presentation today is a bit slow.
Okay, I can present myself. In the meanwhile, I'm Lydia Shemendera from Actimage, project manager. There is also a developer with me today for any technical questions. The topic 2 is a smart generator. It's you can go to the next slide. It's going out from 2 of the 3 pilots of Cortex Square, mainly e-learning and e-maintenance. It's about creating a framework. In fact, you have the main topic is to generate new assets, meaning 3D objects. They will be created and customized and powered by generative AI. It's very important for us to add these possibilities to our pilots and to our technologies. We'll explain it by just giving you more details about that. You have a given texture 3D mesh of an object generated from multi-view images, and the framework should perform either one of the 2 functions, which you can see here. The framework should on one very important point, enhance the texture quality of the mesh, or the framework should change the texture details of the mesh using a given textual prompt. It's also about having the capability in this topic to generate new assets in real time with AI and compatible with Unity projects. It will be useful for the Cortex Square collaborative platform regarding pedagogy, inclusion, and accessibility. We think about adding that, for instance, because in e-learning or e-maintenance, you have to act in real time, and you can organize your training session or your maintenance by adding new objects in the scenario in the session, or you can add any new assets, change the colors, change the texture, and make it easier for the people learning or repairing a machine, for example, if they encounter any situation like they cannot recognize clearly colors, or if they have let's say eye sickness, or if they have phobias or things like that. But mainly, it's about improving the texture of 3D reconstructed models, meaning that we need this framework to be created through a standard AI. The technical requirements are here Unity, meaning C#, and Unity 3D, so as WebXR. AI, open source is preferred, like for the other topics, but not mandatory, so as standard formats for 3D objects. We expect that PC and VR user will be able to point at objects in this with this technology, personalized scenes and change colors of objects while they are interacting with each other. So everything is in real time. Please, next slide. We have many KPIs. I mean, we have under KPIs inside these 3 KPIs. The first one is about fast generation, low resource consumption, and high fidelity rendering. This is the minimum requirement for Unity scenes. By the first KPI, the modified mesh model should be able to render at 3 times speeds in web browsers and mobile phone. By the second KPI about quality, first we would like at least to increase the quality or customize the only one mesh model, and the second step will be to increase the quality or add customization to many mesh models, and the number of mesh models should not be limited. KPI 3 is about generation. First about time, the framework should generate the modified texture and the mesh in less than 10 seconds. And the second, the second point of generation would be the environment. It's expected to work on generated 3D mesh generated dark environments. Expected outcome will be improvement of the results of the 3D scene reconstruction, the capability to modify in real-time objects, and also the possibility to integrate avatar animation capabilities within one of the 3 contextual pilots, meaning mainly e-learning. Next slide, please. Yeah, about the help and support given by the consortium. It's the same like before. We only add a GitLab access and a Git architecture, so as a Unity documentation and like the other partner being mentoring you and support through workshop sessions. Sorry. Next slide, please. So as you know, it will last 9 months, and we have 3 sprints. The first sprint will be about specification and test plan, meaning we expect asset generation regardless of time and regardless of medium. In the second sprint, the result of the first one will be a proof of concept, which we will be able to test maybe, or at least analyze through a video. We will also validate the POC and make some tests with Unity on PC, at least. The third sprint will be the validation. We expect an MVP and a product video. And you can see here that we expect some technical capacities like optimization in Unity, a DLL compatibility with PC and Android, low resource generation is a result, also should be a result, and we expect also testing by end users. So it's all for my part.
Thank you, Lydia. And those were actually the topics for today. Now we can move swiftly to the Q&A session. We have received a lot of questions, and most of them have already been responded to in the chat. And now I will start with the ones that have not received a response yet. So the first question is the avatar generation already done and we should work on it to add any other features? I think this is related to topic 1, if I'm not mistaken, since I do not see any indication. But I don't know, Emmanuel, if you can take this one.
This for topic 1, and I'm really sorry. Maybe I will forward the question to someone from DFKI or Linagora, because I completely forgot if we already manage avatars. I think so. I think just about animating existing avatars. Does someone can confirm?
Alan or Yazid?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, perfectly. Hi.
Yeah, I think actually to give an overview, just actually we are using already Play Me Avatar as free avatar. So I think there are also some open source solution to generate the avatar. So yeah. I think we can start from Ready Play Me Avatar, for example, and there is also, I think, in OpenCall1 some partners that are working in avatar generation. So yeah. So we will see how we can collaborate with them and or using open source generator. I don't know if this responds to the question. I don't hear you.
Now you can hear me. In case the answer was not sufficient, the potential applicant can elaborate on the question and we're going to respond further. Okay, thank you, Yazid.
Okay.
Moving to the next question, will all these questions and answers be available in the recording? Yes. So the recording is going to be made available, as I've mentioned, through our website and through our YouTube channel. Follow-up question. You have mentioned at the start of the session that there is integration guidelines and technology documentation available for the Cortex Square project. Are we able to access these documents now in order to support our application and planning? All the documents that are available are already on the website, and those are the official documents for the OpenCall1. The one that you can refer to is Annex 1.1, which is a technical description document. This information should be sufficient for you to prepare your application. In case you believe anything is missing and is hindering you for succeeding in this, you can send a question and we will respond to you. Okay. Then there was a question regarding topic 3 and the KPIs, and the applicant wanted to ask whether there can be any elaboration on the KPIs. So I don't know, Maria V, Emmanuel, if we can have such a brief elaboration. I can also go back to the KPI slide for this.
You're referring to the question was from continuous with the answer at topic 3. The question is topic 3.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Do you want me to go back to the KPI slide?
I think the original question was about the services which are not so clear. Which is about topic 3. Yeah, it's about integrated Cortex Express services into VR environment. And the question was in my memory, could we have a list, because it's not very accurate definition of Cortex Express services. So I'm wondering if all the Cortex Square development and features which will be made available for the outcome of the project are not already described in the documentation which has been published.
Yes. So as I've mentioned before, we have the descriptions in Annex 1.1. However, if applicants believe anything is missing for them, you can address us and we can see whether something can be added. But as it was the case for OpenCode 1, for OpenCode 2, this is the document, Annex 1.1, technical description. This document was updated with the novelties for OpenCode 2, and you had access to it. Okay. Then moving to the next question. Are all of the Rainbow modules technologies involved in the project open source? If not, is there any licensing documentation available online concerning the licenses for Rainbow? This would help us to plan how our technology can be combined with Rainbow from a legal standpoint. So I don't know whether Emmanuel or somebody from the FKI, potentially Alan, can also touch upon this.
Yeah, because it's two questions here, the one about Rainbow, the one about Cortex Express. If you just rely on Rainbow SDK, there is regarding the after the project for the commercial stage, there will be, it's not open source, that there will be, everything is already described on the Rainbow developer website. Regarding the project, I'll let you, Eli, elaborate about that. And regarding the use of Cortex Express services, I'll let you or Alain elaborate.
Well, maybe I can say a few words about this this situation, because okay, the question contains a legal standpoint. Actually, the FSTP partners, so the winners of the open call, will enter the project, which is a publicly financed project, as a project partner, and this means that we enter a situation of co-creation of value or assets. And then it's the same situation as the beneficiaries of the project that are already in the project, which means that we are creating novel technologies. And then the question arises, who owns the IPs, and what is the situation regarding the ownership. So the situation is like this: when you develop something in the project, including in this open call, you are owner of what you are developing alone. So if you are developing something completely alone without actually a co-creation by another partner, this belongs to you. If you develop something together with another partners, then you are in a co-ownership situation, and this means that two or more partners have the rights on what has been developed. So this means that when we the ideal case is that we develop things with clear interfaces, and so each partner can claim single ownership on specific modules, and so it's quite separated. Regarding the exploitation of the results, if you want to exploit something that necessitates other modules from the project, you can do so, and the other modules or the owners of the other modules cannot block the exploitation, because we have an agreement in our project that we should offer the possibility of using other modules at reasonable conditions. So this is a classical formulation of the intellectual property rights in the consortium agreements, and this means that we are not in a situation where anyone can block the exploitation of results, and we need to enter a negotiation on the conditions. But this will happen after the project, because during the project phase, we are mainly developing prototypes and proof of concepts. And if we go to exploitation of some of the parts, this will be done after the project.
Thank you, Alan. Since we are a bit of ahead of time, we will take 2 more questions. And then, of course, if there is anything additional, as I mentioned, you can always contact us to the discussion forum on the F6S page. This is very useful because when you post your question there, other potential applicants also see the responses to the question. So I suggest you use this option. And of course, you can use our open call email. So the next question is regarding topic 3. One of the required services is the AOT service. In the technical description document, it is mentioned that the AOT component was not yet available for integration as of the end of February. Will be available once the project begins. Other services might also still be in development. Is there an idea how that should be handled when thinking about integration? So here again, either.
Yes,
Yes.
the IT components will be ready when the project starts. Yes.
Okay, loud and clear. Thank you, Marivi. Okay, and another one, topic 1. What I could understand is that you will generate an avatar with an open source generation program, and you're looking for technology that then animates the avatar and the lip sync. So the animations have to respond to all the possible risks, depending how and on which open source generation program you generated the avatar. Can you please confirm this? I don't know whether Yazid or Emmanuel.
Rather Yazid, but what I understand from the question is, should the project be able to support any kind of open source rig? Which I think it's not the case. You just need to stick to, once you've made a choice about generation of avatar, you can develop the application or the technology upon this basic technology. But I think someone who has the skills needs to confirm.
Yazid, can you, is your connection good? Can you still respond? Okay. In case the response was not sufficient, please do send us an email and we're going to provide additional information. Okay, and there is one final one, and then we close the session. I think this is a follow-up to what Alan responded. This is cross-licensing agreement, but how about the value of it? For example, if Rainbow is sold commercially, do we have a part of it in terms of value? So I think that this question was responded already, and this is described in the guidelines for applicants, where it really depends on how this was developed. So if you are developing independently, then the ownership of your project is staying with you. However, if you are collaborating with an additional party, for example, if in this case this is Alcatel-Lucent, then after the end of the project, you will go in a co-creation agreement where this is going to be further elaborated.
Yes,
Alan, if you want to add.
Yes, Eli, maybe I need to make one clarification because the question contains if Rainbow is sold commercially, so and so. So Rainbow is not the result of Cortex Square. Rainbow is a software that is pre-existing and belongs to Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise, who is a partner in the project. So I guess that the question is more if Cortex Square is sold commercially, what happens? So reformulating this question like this, if the question is, do we have a part of it in terms of value? Yes, you have a part of it, but not only a part of what you develop yourself as an added value in the project. So it's not like by joining the project, you have a part of whatever has been done in Cortex Square, but you own the part that you actually contributed to. And if it's sold commercially, then, and if the commercial version contains what you have developed, then you have a part of it in terms of value. Yes.
Thank you. And I think this was the final question. Thank you all for attending. I hope this session was very useful for you. Indeed, it was very useful for us also to understand what queries you might be having at this stage. Please continue asking us questions. As you know, the deadline for applications is the 15th of August, so you have a bit more than 2 more weeks to go. Thank you for your time, and I wish you a lovely day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Mhm.